Hi, I'm First Cowgirl Angela Hess, and today I have the great pleasure of speaking to Les Thomas. You know him as the hype guy for OSU, but I know Les as the hype guy for hope. So I hope you'll enjoy this conversation today and that it will resonate with you in our journey to help remove the stigma of mental health. Les, if you would tell us about your journey with mental health and what mental health has looked like throughout your life.
That's a great question. I would say my journey started as I got older in life because the way that I grew up, mental health wasn't talked about. We didn't have the resources for it. And it was a taboo in our community. Like, it was a sign of weakness. You don't talk to anyone, shut up, get over it, go to a corner. In fact, you were chastised if you showed any sign of what was considered weakness. And so, growing up, going to a therapist or talking about your issue just really wasn't an option. I grew up in a gang neighborhood where there's a lot of challenges and lack of resources and drugs, violence. And that was the time that I really needed it. I mean, honestly, the truth is, as a kid, as a child, I needed it. Not only did I need it, my mother needed it. We had our faith in the Lord, but outside of that, it's like, where do you take your challenges to? How do you process your feelings? And so growing up, I really needed living in a violent neighborhood. And because of that, it caused me to act out, being in a single parent home, lack of resources. My dad wasn't as involved in my life as he should have been. And so because of that, my ACE score, that's one thing that we talk about. It's adverse childhood experiences. If you score anything over a 6, that's really bad, right? That means you're having some challenges, or you had challenges between the age of being born and 18, and I score a 9, right? And so because of that, I really needed some therapy services. I really struggled mentally, and it showed up in my life where I became a juvenile delinquent where I got in trouble. My mother was doing the best that she could, and I had some mentors. But the thing is, I really needed to talk about my issues. I needed to talk about the absence of my father. I needed to talk about, witnessing someone get shot when I was 7 years old, so I needed to talk about those things. And so it wasn't until later on in my life when I realized, Les, talking about your issues and the things that you experience and that you witnessed as a child and as a young man at that time is not a sign of weakness. In fact, not talking about it is like taking a 2-liter and shaking it up and then opening it, right? Mm-hmm. It spews out in other areas of our life. And I was an angry young man. I was an angry young man because I wasn't able to process my feelings. I wasn't able to process my thoughts. And so as I got older, as I started speaking to other people, and I started realizing that, Les, addressing your mental health is just as important as addressing your physical health, right, or your spiritual health. And I was an athlete. I played football, and I was in a band, and I worked hard on my muscles. I wanted to be fast. I wanted to be quick. But your life can really get out of balance when you're physically fit, but you're not mentally fit, right? And so as I got older, started experiencing life, started discovering who I was as a person, started understanding and seeing that some of my ways was wrong, right? Acting out of anger was wrong, but there was a root to my anger. There was a root to the way I was feeling. When I felt lonely about myself, there was a root to that, and that stemmed from my childhood on not talking about some of the issues and the challenges. So my experience as a childhood was non-existent, and as I got older, I realized the importance of it.
What age were you whenever you really realized I've got to do something different?
I could tell you, the age I really realized I have to do something different. I deployed, so I was in the Air Force, and I deployed to Kuwait. I went to Aliyah Salim. And when I returned home, shortly after I got back, my neighbor was robbed at gunpoint, right? And when my neighbor was robbed at gunpoint, I realized in that moment the fear that I was carrying was some PTSD from me going overseas, but it was also PTSD from me as a child. Because the way I was feeling, I'm like, okay, this is not normal. The things that I was doing, the fear that I had, the way I felt like I needed to protect me and my family. And that was an isolated incident. Even though I knew that was an isolated incident, the fear just paralyzed me. And I knew, Les, you need therapy. Les, you need help. You've been carrying this weight, and everything, all these different things in life that's been happening, just been adding more weight and adding more weight. And when that happened, when I returned from overseas, it literally made me crumble. It literally made me realize that, Les, you got some issues that you need to iron out. And this fear that you're feeling in this moment isn't just from this moment, it's from your entire life. You've been running away from this, demons or monsters are feelings that you need to address. And so that was the moment where I realized, okay, you can't do this alone. You can't do this by yourself. You need to get some help. And that's when I sought that help. And that's when I started expressing myself about not just how I felt in the moment, but through my entire childhood, the things that I witnessed. And so I would pinpoint it to that moment of returning from overseas when, in my opinion, I was carrying much more fear and more scared than I should have, since that was an isolated incident. It was a coincidence, but it struck so much fear in me. But I ended up finding out that fear was deeply rooted in from situations that happened before that moment.
So at that time, were you married? Did you have children? Were you struggling in your relationship with your wife or with your children?
Yes.
Was that all present in that time?
100%. Yeah, I was married at the time. This was 2006 when I deployed. I got married in 2000, so I had been married for 6 years, son and a daughter. And, to dive a little deeper in that, not having the blueprint of being a leader, being a father, a provider, a priest, a protector in my home, anger was usually my natural default, right? And people see me now, they're like, man, you're so hype, you're so fun, you're so full of joy, but they don't understand the work that it took, right? The same way the work that it takes to get stronger, I had to mentally work on myself as well to get to this place of joy, to get to this place of peace, to get to this place of enjoying life. But anger was my natural default, right? And like the first couple of years of my marriage was a real challenge. My wife used to call me the devil's reincarnate. Hey, I just put it out there, I've come a long way and I'm very thankful. But, yes, some of those things that impacted me as a young person impacted me later in life. And that's why it's important to deal with it as early as you can, because the truth is, what you don't deal with, the person that you connect yourself to will pay for it. I'm gonna say that again. What you don't deal with, the person that you connect yourself to, your spouse, your husband, your wife, your kids, your friends, they will pay for what you don't deal with. And in that moment, my family was paying for what I did not deal with. And since anger was my natural default, there was a lot of things I said and did that I regretted, And so I needed that help. I needed someone to tell me that, Les, we need to process your feelings and go back to the root so we can uproot this thing, right? Because a lot of times on the surface, we play it off. I remember many times, like we would, walk up to church and someone would say, man, y'all a beautiful family, man. Y'all look so happy. And they don't know that it was just hell in the car. It was just hell last night. And it might be hell after church, right? So on the surface, a lot of times we front. A lot of people say you front, or you act like, or you put on a face of everything being okay, when deep down inside everything is not okay. And so, yeah.
Oh man, that all resonates with me so deeply. When you talk about your kids, that is something that I think that we overlook. Is when we're going through that, our kids are paying the price for it.
They are.
So looking back then on that, how has this changed your relationship with your children?
Yeah, I love that question, because my family is everything, I believe now my wife and my kids will tell you that I'm the best father in the world, but it wasn't always that way, right? Them seeing their dad act out, them seeing their dad upset, and going through the growing pains of life, what I'm doing in that moment is I'm adding to their ACE score, right? That's one reason it's a cycle, because a lot of times if you don't deal with it, the next generation is being raised up in your stuff that you haven't dealt with. And so for my children, thankfully, I just tell you, I was driving to California in 2007. I had a TDY. I had to go there for the military, and we had family in California. And my wife and children was in the back of the car. And I may get emotional, but it was a change of trajectory of my life. But I'm driving in the car. It's like 2 a.m. and they're in the background and they're playing Remember When. My wife and my kids are playing Remember When. And at first I'm just laughing, like we're having a great time. We're laughing and enjoying it. And then I'm realizing, man, I don't remember that. Okay. Oh gosh. Yeah, I don't remember that one either. So now I'm shrinking in my seat, and tears is coming down my face because I'm realizing that in my mind, since I had overcome and worked on myself with the anger in my mind, give me Father and Husband of the Year. But I didn't realize I still had work to do. Yeah. Right. And sometimes when we have victories in our life, sometimes we settle in those victories and we raise the flag and say, I did it. But there's still stuff on the inside that we need to work on.
Yeah.
And so I'm realizing that I've been home, but I hadn't been present, and part of that was, my childhood, not having my father in the home. I'm thinking, you got clothes on your back, you got food on the table, you got shelter, man, give me Father of the Year. Yeah. And I realized that, okay, you still have work that you need to work through, things in you that you need to work through so your kids can benefit and really experience what it's like to have an intentional father, to have a father that's meaningful and a father that's guiding you, right? And a father that is doing everything he can to mold you to be the greatest version of yourself. And thankfully, my children at that time was 6 and 9. So my daughter was 6, son was 9. So thankfully, they were young enough for them to see their dad transform, for their dad to transition from this guy that really thought I was killing it. I'm like, okay, I'm not angry no more. I'm not acting crazy anymore. And I'm thinking that, oh man, you made it. But I'm like, wow, I've been home, but I have not been locked in with my family. And I'm just really thankful that it happened at a time where I still had many years, of valuable years left to spend with my children, to see that, okay, dad recognized something wasn't right, dad fixed it. And that's what it's teaching them. Yeah. Like when they're growing up as a teenager, growing up as an adult, it's possible. My dad was XYZ, my mother was XYZ. I saw this man transform in the home as an adult. So that means, what does it tell them? It's never too late to transform. Right. It's never too late to get help. It's never too late to realize I need to work on myself and evolve.
So you really, truly modeled for your children. I mean, yes, there were those dark days and those times when you were not the man that you wanted to be for your children. Yeah. But modeling that as a father for your children has to have been so impactful in their lives. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about your kids? I mean, I know I'm diverting, but I really would love to know how they look at you now.
Yeah, my children, I will tell you that, I have received many accolades in my life, right? But I would tell you that by far the greatest accolade or my greatest accomplishment is my children. And not only what they've become, because they are very successful within their own right, but our relationship.
Yes.
Like my children want to see their dad win. You know how some kids because I've been blessed to have a small platform here in Oklahoma and walk in rooms or walk in places and people may recognize me, and how some children might be like, my children's like, yeah, that's my dad, they keep me humble too. Yeah. Right. But the relationship I have with them, like my son being comfortable to have real conversations with his dad, things that he hasn't told his wife or his friends, like, dad, what do I do in this situation, right? When it comes to career, when it comes to life, when it comes to being a husband, when it comes to being a father, my children will tell you that one of the first names, I mean, in fact, my daughter, fun fact, one time my daughter was getting a shot. She don't like shots, right? And you know what she screamed out? She screamed out, "Dad!" Because that was her default of protection. That was her default of my dad will help me out in a time of need. And so even though it hurt me to see her crying, but it blessed me to say that in a moment of need, her dad is who she'll call on. And so now I tell people this all the time that, we're Team Thomas. We make a tight fist that can punch a hole through anything. And now, my children my son has 2 kids and my daughter is having a baby next week.
Oh my gosh,
right?
congrats.
And so, my nickname is Boo Paw. My family called me Boo growing up, and my nieces and nephews called me Uncle Boo, so Boo Paw only made sense. But I say that to tell you that, the love that we have, even during Christmas, I'm like, I don't need a gift. My children are here. And my children want to be here, and my children want to be in my presence. My children text me, my children call me, and I'm just very thankful that that is a result of me doing the work.
Absolutely.
Why does mental health matter? Because when you do the work, not only does it bless you and transform you, but it blesses others and transforms others. And so, but yeah, my children, they would tell you, I believe 100%, no question, that if it was like, if they could tell anyone and no one would see it and no video camera or anything, they would say, my dad is the best dad in the world.
I love that.
So, yeah.
I love that. And I don't doubt that for a minute. You are genuine.
Thank you.
But I would encourage you, don't sell yourself short, because you are impactful on this campus. I mean, I know because I hear it. And here's what I see with you. Seen this for so many years before I even had the great opportunity to meet you. Your joy is contagious. When you walk out on a field or a court or wherever you are, you feel it. Like, you bring that joy. It comes from a place so deep inside of you, it's impossible for anybody around you to not gravitate to that.
Yes.
So with that said, I'd like to ask you something, which really, to speak to our students, what would you say to our students who are struggling, who haven't addressed the issues that maybe they grew up with, or maybe they're just realizing them as they're coming into adulthood here on, at OSU? Some of them, this is their first time ever away from home or the comforts that they grew up in. And sometimes comfort is chaos in their minds. So what would you say to the kids here today at OSU?
Well, what I would say to the students, I would say that you are not alone.
Oh, gosh.
I would say that many times in our mind, isolation tells us I'm the only one going through, I'm the only one dealing with this. No one understands. I'm here to tell you that we understand. Cowboys understand, Cowgirls understand, Oklahoma State University, we understand. So that's why this opportunity has been given to you to be able to open up and talk about those things that keep you up at night, those things that you weep about, those things that you cry about, those idiosyncrasies, those things that you deal with that you don't want to tell anyone. There's someone that can help you overcome that hill, that can help you overcome that mountain, right? Because the truth is, all of us will have valleys, we will have high points, we will have low points, but in those low points is where growth can happen, right? And if you don't deal with those low points, that's where more and more will build on top of you, just like with an ant, a pal that we see from an ant pal, right? It starts off really, we can't even see the dirt that they start off with, but it gets to the point where you can see it, right? That's what happens in our life when we don't deal with it. So I would encourage every student to step out of your comfort zone. It is not a sign of weakness. No one is going to judge you. In fact, we're going to applaud you. Right now, if I didn't have this microphone on me, I would cheer and be like, woo, woo, woo. The same way that we cheer for the athletes when they score a touchdown, score a basket, we are cheering for you right now. We're in your corner. Angela, I know you're in their corner. I'm in their corner. President Hess is in their corner. Everyone is in their corner saying we're cheering for you to be the best version of yourself. And education is a huge part of that. But the same way that you work on getting to where you want to be and cross that finish line in education is the same way you want to be in your spiritual health and your mental health, right? So I would just say, hey, you're not alone. Reach out to someone also and start here. If you don't have a therapist, get a mentor. right? That's a good place, right? A mentor is a safe place.
Absolutely.
That's a safe person you can talk to. And that mentor would know how to help you navigate through life to get to the point where you can speak to a therapist, right? If you're intimidated by a therapist, at least get you a trusted,
Yes.
not your buddy,
Nope.
not your friend that's doing the same thing as you, a trusted mentor, someone here that you can speak to, that you can talk to and be honest with. And so I would just encourage you the students to just step out on faith, step out, take a bet on yourself. Take a
Yes.
chance on yourself and understand that you're worth it. You're valuable. You got value. You got greatness inside of you. The only way to get to that is to be honest about some of the challenges we have dealt with. When you deal with those challenges, you'll be so free. That's the joy that people see now. That's what people see now, the joy. Like the joy that you see right now is real. It comes from a place of appreciation, a place of, people call me the hype man, but really I'm the hype man of hope, right? I'm a walking, living testament of hope, right? To overcome the things that I witnessed as a child, to work on myself, to be the best version of myself. And the joy that people see now is thankfulness. I'm thankful that I did the hard work that felt uncomfortable to get to where I'm at.
That's it. It's gratitude.
Yep.
Learning to have gratitude, even for the bad days.
That's right.
The gratitude in the bad days is what brings us into our good days.
Come on.
We can look back on it now and we could go, I think now the things that I hated, I now embrace because that made me who I am.
100%.
It made me stronger in who I am in order to be able to really reach out to these students. So I just have to say, thank you so much for your transparency. I am emotionally moved right now, honestly. You're probably the first person I've sat down with that has said, I'm going to lay it all out.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to hide a single thing because I have no shame. I did the hard work.
Yep.
And here I am.
Yep.
I'm talking hope into everyone.
Absolutely. I live by that if you want to impress people, you share all your victories and you share everything that's great. But if you want to impact people, you share your challenges.
Exactly.
And your life has to be an open book. And for me, this platform that I've been blessed with is not about me. If I can unlock the hearts and unlock greatness within someone else, sharing my challenges, it's all worth it. A lot of times we worry about those who we think, that may judge us. What will someone think? I don't worry about those people. I worry about the people like the moms and the dads that have a child that maybe have some challenges with, and say, hey, they can still become something great. Or that person that made some mistake to say, even though I made some mistakes in my life, I still got a lot of life left. I'm still breathing. I'm still here. So that means that I have an opportunity to change. I have an opportunity to become, and I have an opportunity to be successful. So I never shy away from my challenges because that's what helped make me to be who I am today.
Absolutely.
And that's why you see this now.
Wow, Les, you have a powerful story, and I hope you just keep sharing that every single day. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate you.
Yes, ma'am.
And big things to come.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.